Chosen one, do not close this message and do not take another step. I need to say this before you do anything else today. Stop moving, whatever you are about to walk away from this week, the plan you are about to abandon, the place you are about to leave, the calling you are about to quit on. Put it down for the next few minutes and listen. Because the restlessness you have been feeling lately, that sudden overwhelming urge to pack it all up and run, is not what you think it is. They are already on their way to you. The people carrying what you prayed for, the opportunity with your name written on it. The answer that took years to build, it has left the gate. It is moving toward your exact coordinates right now, and there is only one thing left in this world that can stop it from arriving. Not the enemy, not the delay, not your past. You moving, that is why the instruction for this season is so strange and so simple. Stay put. Stand exactly where you were planted. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you why the pressure to leave always screams loudest in the final mile. The name of the reflex that has robbed more chosen ones than any attack ever has. And the three things you are supposed to be doing while you hold your position. If you have felt that pull to abandon your post this week, type, "I am staying" in the comments right now. Heaven honors a declared position. Like this video as your first act of agreement with what is being spoken over your life. Then subscribe and turn on the bell so the next word reaches you before the enemy can distract you away from your post. Now, let me prove to you that I am not guessing about your life, because recognition matters more than persuasion. Somewhere in the last 30 days, you looked at something you have been building or believing for, and for the first time in years, you heard yourself say, "Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe this was never for me." It was not a dramatic moment. It was quiet. You were washing dishes, or driving, or lying awake at 2 in the morning, and the thought arrived with a strange calmness that almost sounded like wisdom. That is the first sign, and I need you to notice something about its timing. The thought did not come when things were hardest. It came after you had already survived the hardest part. It came late, suspiciously late. Think about that. You endured the years when there was no evidence at all. You held on through seasons that would have broken most people. And now, after all of that endurance, the urge to quit shows up with more force than it ever had before. Does that sequence make any sense to you? Why would the desire to leave grow stronger as the destination gets closer, unless the desire to leave is not coming from you? Here is the second thing you have noticed. Lately, everything in your environment seems to agree that you should move. A friend casually mentions a city far away, and something in you leaps. An old opportunity resurfaces from a chapter you already closed, wearing new clothes. Even your own home has started to feel too small, too slow, too quiet, as if the walls themselves were pushing you out the door. When every voice around you starts singing the same song at the same time, that is not coincidence. That is coordination. And coordination always has an author. And the third sign is the strangest one. Underneath all that restlessness in the deepest part of you, there is a small, stubborn knowing that refuses to leave. A quiet certainty that says you are exactly where you are supposed to be. It does not shout. It does not argue with the restlessness. It just stands there like a soldier who did not get the retreat order because no retreat order was ever given. That small knowing is the truest thing in your life right now. And this message exists to put language, evidence, and strategy around it. So, hold this question as we go deeper, because I will answer it before we are done. If what is coming to you cannot be stopped, why does someone need you to move so badly? Who benefits if you are not home when the delivery arrives? Type Amen in the comments if that question just named something you have been feeling. Let heaven see that you are awake and paying attention. To answer that, I have to take you back before your restlessness began. Back before you were tired, because the season you are standing in right now did not start this year. It started the day something in you said yes to a life that made no sense on paper. You were never drawn to the ordinary path, were you? While others seemed content to build predictable lives with predictable rewards, you carried an ache you could not explain. A sense that something specific was supposed to happen through your life, not fame, not applause, something more like an assignment. You felt it as a child before you had words for it. You felt it in your 20s when everyone told you to be realistic. You feel it now even under all the exhaustion, like an ember that refuses to die no matter how much rain falls on it. And because you carried that ache, you made choices that cost you. You said no to doors that would have made your life easier but smaller. You kept believing through years when believing looked foolish. You planted yourself in a place, a work, a calling, a conviction, and you stayed planted while the world around you sprinted past, waving from windows of lives that looked faster than yours. Nobody threw you a parade for any of that. Most people never even saw it. But you did it anyway because something in you knew that what you were carrying required roots, not wheels. If you have been carrying that ache for years with no one acknowledging it, share this video with someone who needs to hear that their hidden faithfulness is being recorded. You may be the only person in their life right now who sends them something that names what they are actually going through. Do it now. You know exactly who it is. Now, here is what you were never told about roots. A tree that stays planted in one place for years is not being passive. It is doing the most aggressive thing a living thing can do. It is going deeper, while everything above the surface looks motionless. Beneath the ground, the roots are breaking through rock, finding water no one else can reach. Anchoring against storms that have not arrived yet. The stillness you have been ashamed of was never stillness. It was construction. And here is something I want to say very directly before we go further. There are people listening to this right now who have been faithful in hidden places for years, and they are also quietly struggling financially. They have been giving from whatever they have, showing up for others, planting in other people's fields, and heaven has been watching every single act. But I want to speak to the other side of that equation. When is the last time someone sowed into you? When is the last time you positioned yourself to receive by first releasing something in faith? The link is pinned in the comments below. Give what is on your heart right now, not because this channel needs it, but because you have been in a one-directional flow for too long. You have been the giver and never the receiver because you never activated the cycle from your side. The link is there. Whatever amount heaven puts on your heart in this moment, that is the amount. Give it now. Then stay and receive the rest of what is yours. But construction seasons end. And this is where I need your full attention, because most chosen ones completely miss the moment when the season changes. There is a difference between a waiting season and an arrival season, and they feel almost identical from the inside. In a waiting season, heaven is preparing the thing for you. In an arrival season, heaven is moving the thing toward you. The preparation is finished, the order has shipped. And the reason you cannot feel the difference is that arrival seasons are famous for one cruel feature. They are quieter than waiting seasons. The silence gets deeper right at the end. The evidence gets thinner right at the end. It is the spiritual equivalent of the last minutes before dawn, when the night is at its coldest and darkest precisely because the sun is closest to breaking. So how do you know which season you are in? Look at the pressure. In a waiting season, the pressure says, try harder. In an arrival season, the pressure says, leave. That is the tell. When the dominant temptation of your life shifts from exhaustion to evacuation, from I cannot keep doing this to I should be somewhere else. The thing you asked for has already left the warehouse. If that shift has happened in you recently, pause and let that land. You are not in the waiting room anymore. You are at the delivery address. If this is making sense of your season, type the word arriving in the comments. Name the season. And the season becomes real to you. And if this word has been speaking to someone you know, someone who has been on the edge of quitting the very week their delivery is approaching, send this to them right now before you read another line. That nudge you just felt toward a specific name is not random. That is the reason this message found you first. This channel exists to carry words like this to those who are ready. Every message prepared here costs something in prayer, time, and purpose. And right now, before you receive the rest, I am asking you to sow a seed into it. The link is pinned in the comments below. Give what is on your heart, not after the message. Now, before you receive the rest, the one who gives before they receive is the one whose harvest arrives first. That is a kingdom principle. If blessings have been stalling in your life, ask yourself when you last gave into the word that was speaking directly to your situation. The answer to that question is often the answer to your delay. Go to the comments. The link is there. Give now. Then come back and receive everything heaven has for you today. Now I can finally answer the question I asked you to hold: who benefits if you are not home when the delivery arrives? Understand something about how opposition works against a chosen life. In your early seasons, the resistance you faced was designed to break your faith. Discouragement, delay, isolation, mockery, those were siege weapons, and they were aimed at making you stop believing. But you did not stop believing. You are still here, and at a certain point, a point I believe you have already crossed. The resistance gave up on breaking your faith because your faith proved unbreakable, so the strategy changed. Hear this clearly because it may be the single most important sentence in this entire message. What has been assigned to you can no longer be blocked. It has been approved, released, and set in motion. And there is no power in this universe with the authority to cancel it. The only variable left, the only move remaining on the board, is your location. If the shipment cannot be stopped, the last strategy is to change the address, to get the receiver to walk away from the coordinates where the delivery is scheduled to land. This is why your restlessness is not random, and it is not weakness, and it is not even truly yours. It is manufactured. It is the final tactic of an opponent who has already lost every other round. And I want to give you the name of it because the moment you can name a thing, it loses its disguise. We call it the exit reflex. The exit reflex is the involuntary urge to abandon your position at the exact moment your position is about to pay off. And before you assume this is only a spiritual idea, you should know that the pattern shows up everywhere human beings get close to a breakthrough. Ask people who walk with others through long recoveries, and they will tell you the most dangerous week is the one right before the turning point. Because that is when people suddenly feel an overwhelming certainty that the process is not working. Ask those who mentor builders and founders, and they will tell you the strongest urge to dissolve everything arrives in the final stretch. When the work is closest to compounding, the reflex fires hardest at the finish line. It always has. Why? Because the reflex is not responding to failure. It is responding to proximity. Something in the unseen realm knows what your natural eyes cannot see yet, that the gap between you and the promise has collapsed to almost nothing, And since the promise cannot be touched, the reflex floods you instead. Restlessness. Sudden doubt in things you were sure of for years. A strange nostalgia for exits you already rejected. An itch to renovate your entire life the very week you were supposed to simply hold still. Look back at your own history and you will find the fingerprints. Remember the relationship, the project, the community, the discipline you abandoned years ago. The one where you later found out that the breakthrough arrived just after you left. You thought you discerned your way out, but when you learned what happened after you walked away, something in your stomach dropped. That was the exit reflex collecting its toll. Nearly every chosen one has at least one of those stories. The purpose of this message is to make sure you never have another one. If you recognize the exit reflex in your own life history, type 777 in the comments right now. 7 is the number of divine completion. Let that declaration fill the comments. Heaven is watching who sees through the tactic today. So let me lift the weight of shame off you right now, because you have been quietly wondering if all this restlessness means you are ungrateful or unstable or losing your faith. You are none of those things. Feeling the exit reflex does not mean you are broken. It means you are close. The reflex is not evidence of your weakness. It is evidence of your position. Nobody wastes a final tactic on someone standing far from the finish line. But naming the reflex is only half the battle, because you still have to live in a body and a mind that the reflex is actively flooding. And this is where I have to be honest with you about something most spiritual teachers skip because it is uncomfortable. The battle for your position is not only fought in your spirit, it is fought in your attention. Now I want to pause and speak to those who felt the pull to give earlier but moved past it. That feeling has not gone away, has it? That is not coincidence. That is heaven persisting. When the same nudge returns, it means the window is still open, but it will not stay open forever. The enemy knows what that seed will produce. That is exactly why he works so hard to talk you out of it. He will say, wait. He will say, you cannot afford it. Those are lies designed to keep you in the same place. The link is pinned in the comments below. Give what heaven is pressing on your heart right now. Not what is comfortable. What is on your heart? Go to the comments. Give now. Then come back and receive the rest. Now we go deeper into the reflex itself, because it has 3 disguises, and you have already met all 3 of them this month. Before we go further, there is a question rising in you that deserves a direct answer. If all of this is true, why is the instruction only coming now? Why did heaven let you carry the restlessness for weeks before naming it? Understand a principle of divine timing that runs through the whole sacred record. Instructions are released when they become survivable. If you had been told to stand still at the beginning of your journey, when your faith was young and your roots were shallow, the command would have crushed you. Standing is heavier than walking. It takes more strength to hold a position under fire than to march in the open. The fact that this word is reaching you now is itself a verdict from heaven about your readiness. You are strong enough to be told the truth about your season. There is an ancient word in the old language of the prophets, the word kava, which we translate as wait. But kava does not mean to sit idle. Its root picture is the twisting of strands into a rope. To wait in the original tongue is to braid. Every day you hold your position with faith, another strand wraps into the cord that binds you to your promise. The people watching your life see someone doing nothing. Heaven sees a rope thickening daily, becoming the kind of line that can bear the full weight of what is being lowered onto it. You have not been waiting these years. You have been braiding, and a braided cord is exactly what the size of your delivery requires. Think of Joseph, because no life in the ancient record illustrates the delivery route better than his. A young man with a genuine dream, thrown into a pit, sold by his own blood, falsely accused, and finally locked in an Egyptian prison with every visible evidence declaring the dream dead. Now, notice the detail almost every teaching skips. When the moment of elevation finally came, Joseph did not escape to it. He did not tunnel out and go looking for the palace. The palace sent for him. The delivery arrived at his cell. Pharaoh had a dream. The cupbearer remembered, and men with royal orders walked down into the prison to carry Joseph up. The route ended at his exact coordinates in the least promising address in Egypt. And what was Joseph doing when they came for him? He was at his post, serving faithfully in a place he never chose, interpreting dreams for prisoners with no power to repay him, keeping his gift sharp in the dark. If Joseph had spent those years scheming escapes, bribing guards, forcing exits, he would not have been findable on the day the summons came. His faithfulness was not just endurance. It was a forwarding address. That is what your hidden faithfulness is doing right now. Every small obedience files a change of status in the unseen realm. Still here, still ready, still at the post. You are not maintaining a stalled life. You are keeping yourself findable, and the summons, when it comes, will come the way it came for Joseph. Suddenly, on an ordinary day carried by people you did not recruit, opening doors you did not touch. If you believe that you are being kept findable right now, type 1111 in the comments. The number of alignment and new beginnings. Let that go into the atmosphere. Heaven records every public declaration of faith, but I hear the honest objection underneath, because you have carried it a long time. What if I have already missed it? What if my restlessness in some earlier season made me move when I should have stood? And my carrier came to an address. I abandoned years ago, chosen one, breathe and receive this. The God who assigns carriers also redraws routes. The record is full of second sendings. Jonah ran from his post entirely in the opposite direction by sea, and the word of the Lord came to him a second time. Peter deserted his assignment on the worst night of his life, and the risen Christ rerouted breakfast to a beach specifically to restore him. If missed deliveries were final, none of the names you revere would be in the book. What you may have missed in an earlier season has not been destroyed. It has been rescheduled, and the fact that heaven is pinning you to your coordinates right now with this much intensity tells you the new route is close to completing. So release the grief of the old address. It has no power over the current map. The only delivery you can actually lose is the one approaching now, and the only way to lose it is to repeat the old pattern one more time. If you can feel that difference in yourself, that you are no longer the person who obeys the restlessness automatically, type the word rerouted in the comments. Mark the moment the pattern lost its grip. The first disguise the exit reflex wears is the costume of wisdom. It does not arrive saying run away. It arrives saying be strategic. It quotes your own vocabulary back to you. Maybe this door is closed for a reason. Maybe I am forcing something God ended long ago. It sounds so mature, so discerning, that you almost congratulate yourself for thinking it. But here is how you unmask it. True divine redirection comes with peace and a destination. The counterfeit comes with pressure and only an exit when God moves you. He tells you where to go. When the reflex moves you, it only tells you what to leave. If the voice urging you out of position cannot name where you are being sent, it is not a shepherd, it is a scatterer. The second disguise is the costume of comparison. The reflex will parade other people past your window at the precise moment your own field looks most barren. Suddenly, your feed, your conversations, your memory, all fill with people who moved and prospered, who left and seem happier, who quit the calling and got promoted, who abandoned their post and appear from a distance to be free. What you are not shown is the whole story. You are shown highlight reels engineered to make your obedience feel like a prison. And notice the timing again. This parade never marches past your window during ordinary weeks. It arrives in delivery weeks. The comparison is not information. It is bait. A fisherman does not throw bait at empty water. He throws it where he knows something valuable is swimming. The third disguise is the costume of fatigue, and this one deserves the most compassion because it is built out of real material. You are genuinely tired. Years of holding a position no one applauded will do that to a body and a soul. The reflex takes that legitimate tiredness and performs a subtle translation. It turns "I need rest" into "I need out." Those are radically different sentences. Rest restores you inside your assignment, out removes you from it. The enemy of your destiny is perfectly happy for you to get rest, as long as the price of the rest is your coordinates. So when the exhaustion speaks, answer it this way: yes, I will rest right here at my post with my boots on. Now, once you can see through all three disguises, a question rises that changes everything. If I am not supposed to move, what am I supposed to do? And this is where I have to correct the biggest misunderstanding about the instruction to stay put. Almost everyone here stands still and thinks do nothing. They picture passivity, a parked car, a paused life. That picture is completely wrong, and believing it will make the standing unbearable. There is a difference between standing still and standing guard. A parked car and a sentry at his post are both motionless. But one is empty and the other is the most alert presence on the field. You were not commanded to park. You were commanded to guard. We call this position standing guard, not standing still. The stillness of a guard is not the absence of action. It is action compressed into vigilance, and a guard on duty has 3 active assignments, which means so do you. The first assignment is to guard the gate. Every delivery needs an open, undamaged entrance, and the gate of your life is your daily faithfulness. The small obediences you have almost stopped doing because they seem to change nothing. The prayer you almost dropped, the discipline you almost let slide, the kindness you almost retired. These are not small. They are the hinges of the gate. Keep them oiled, keep the entrance clear. Nothing assigned to you can be received through a gate you have abandoned. The second assignment is to guard the declaration. What you say about your position while you hold it matters more than you know. A guard who announces to the whole camp that the reinforcements are probably not coming is worse than no guard at all, because he disarms everyone who hears him, including himself. Your mouth is either defending your coordinates or leaking them. So this season, let your words be few and armed. I am planted. It is en route. I will be here when it arrives. Say less to people and more to heaven. The third assignment is to guard the watchtower itself. The watchtower is your mind. A guard is only as useful as his eyes, and eyes are only as useful as the clarity behind them. This is the assignment almost every chosen one neglects, and it is the reason so many hold their position physically but lose it mentally. They stay in the right place with the wrong clarity, and when the moment of arrival comes, when the carrier knocks, when the door opens, when the opportunity stands in front of them, requiring a sharp yes within a short window, they are foggy, hesitant, half asleep at the very post they refuse to abandon for years. Keep the watchtower clear. Every act of stillness, every choice to rest instead of escape, every time you refuse to numb your spirit with noise, you are keeping the lights on at the window. A carrier who arrives in the night needs to see your light burning. Now, before we go further, I want to speak one more time about the seed. I know the link has been mentioned. I know some of you have felt the pull and moved past it. But I want to ask you one honest question. If a carrier is on their way to your coordinates right now, and the delivery requires you to be present, alert and ready, what are you doing today to demonstrate to heaven that you actually believe that? Planting a seed while you are still waiting is not a transaction. It is a declaration. It is your way of saying, I believe the delivery is real enough to move in faith before I see it. The widow gave before the miracle, not after. That sequence was not accidental. That sequence was the miracle. The link is in the comments. Give what is pressing on your spirit. Give it now while the anointing is still present. Then watch how differently the rest of this week unfolds. If you are in that hidden season right now and you choose to trust it, type yes in the comments. Let that be your declaration that the underground work is not wasted. Heaven sees every root forming beneath the surface. Now stay with me because we have reached the deepest layer of this message. The question underneath all the other questions: why would the design of things require you to be sharp, clear, and fully present at the moment of arrival? Why does the guard need clear eyes if God is handling the delivery anyway? Because arrival moments are recognition. Moments almost every carrier comes disguised as something ordinary. A conversation that could be small talk or could be the door. An offer that looks modest on the surface with a kingdom underneath. An introduction whose weight is invisible unless you are paying attention. The tragedy recorded again and again in human lives is not that the blessing never came. It is that the blessing came and was not recognized because the receiver was foggy at the window. The delivery does not just require your presence. It requires your perception. Every blessing you have ever received arrived through a carrier. Think about it. The job came through a person who said yes. The healing came through hands, or a word, or a stranger whose timing was impossible. The breakthrough came through a phone call, a meeting, an introduction, a door held open by someone you barely knew. The favorite delivery method of heaven has never been lightning from the sky. It has always been people and moments moving along. Assigned routes carrying cargo they often do not even understand they are carrying. We call them assigned carriers. And right now, somewhere between where they are and where you are, your carriers are in motion. This is not poetry, this is logistics. The connector who knows the person you need to know, the gatekeeper whose heart has already been turned toward your name, the resource that has been rerouted through 3 different hands so that it lands in yours. You have been picturing your promise as a distant event. Start picturing it as a convoy already loaded, already moving, already carrying your address. Now, why does that picture matter so much? Because it changes what your faith is doing. Faith that waits for an event is passive and gets exhausted. Faith that expects a convoy becomes watchful, and watchfulness is exactly what your post requires when you know carriers are coming. Every knock matters, every conversation might be the connection. Every ordinary Tuesday is suddenly a candidate for the day the route completes. You stop scanning the horizon for lightning and start paying attention to people, which is where the blessing has been scheduled to come from all along. If you feel that convoy moving toward your coordinates right now, type 777 Amen in the comments. Let those 2 declarations go in together. 777 for divine completion and Amen as your covenant seal. Fill that comment section. Let the chosen ones find each other, but carriers can be missed. Let me tell you about a woman whose story has stayed with me for years. She had prayed more than a decade for a specific door in her work, a door that would let her provide for her family and step into what she knew she was made for. And in her 11th year, a season of restlessness hit her exactly like the one I described at the beginning of this message. Everything in her screamed to relocate, to start over in another city where things would surely be easier. She had the boxes half-packed, and one morning in prayer, one sentence dropped into her spirit with unmistakable weight. "Daughter, why are you leaving the address I gave them?" She unpacked the boxes. 17 days later, a former colleague she had not spoken to in 6 years knocked on her door in person, with an opportunity so precisely shaped to her preparation that she wept before the woman finished speaking. The carrier had been en route for months. The route ended at the address she almost abandoned. Hear the lesson inside that story. The carrier was not sent to where she was thinking of going. The carrier was sent to where she was planted. Assignments are delivered to positions, not to potentials. Heaven does not track your daydreams, it tracks your coordinates. And that brings us to the part of the ache I have not touched yet. The part of you that says, "But I have been standing so long. If it is really this close, why do I feel like I cannot hold on another month, chosen one?" Let me reframe the entire mathematics of your journey. You have not come most of the way. You have come all of your way. The distance that remains does not belong to you. It belongs to the convoy. There is a line in the ancient story of the Red Sea that most people quote wrong. The instruction to Israel, standing trapped between an army and the water, was not fight harder. It was stand still and watch the deliverance. The final mile of that miracle was walked by the sea itself, not by the people. Their part was position. The part God carried was motion, and the pattern repeats through the whole sacred record. The army of Joshua did not tear down the walls of Jericho. They held formation while heaven handled demolition. The prophet at the brook did not chase down his own food. Ravens were assigned a route, and his only job was to be at the brook when they landed. Do you see what the pattern is teaching? In every one of these stories, there is a handoff point, a line where human effort ends and divine logistics begin. Cross that line still striving, and you actually interfere with the delivery. Your season has crossed that line. The reason your efforts lately have felt strangely powerless is not that you failed. It is that your part is finished. The remaining work does not respond to your hustle. It responds to your stillness. This is why rest is not a luxury right now. It is the assignment. If your soul just exhaled hearing that, type the word "planted" in the comments. Let it stand as your position report. Now stay with me because there is one more piece of your position I have not given you yet. And it may be the piece your heart has needed most. I want to talk about what to do on the days when standing feels impossible, the days when the exit reflex is not a whisper but a roar, when the parade of other lives marches past your window all afternoon, when your body is tired in a way sleep does not fix. On those days, I want you to remember that you are not the first watchman to tremble at a post. Elijah, one of the fiercest voices in the entire sacred record, sat under a broom tree after his greatest victory and asked to die. The man who called down fire wanted out and notice what heaven did with him. No lecture, no shame. An angel brought him food, let him sleep, fed him again, and only then spoke about the road ahead. The response of God to an exhausted watchman is not rebuke, it is provision. If your season under the broom tree is now, receive that. You are allowed to be tired at your post. You are simply not allowed to believe the tiredness when it tells you the post is worthless. Then there is the temptation to compare your motionless season to the movement of others, and I want to hand you a picture to keep. Two fields sit side by side in winter. One farmer, restless, tears up his field in February and replants it with something faster. The other holds his ground, trusting what he planted in the fall. From the road, both fields look identical for months. Bare, silent, unimpressive. But underneath one of them, a root system is finishing its work. When spring arrives, the difference between the two fields is not visible in weeks. It is visible in decades. You are not behind. You are underground. There is a difference. And for the days when you cannot feel God at all at your post, hear this carefully, because it may reverse everything you assumed about the silence. In the old stories, the silence of heaven consistently deepens right before its greatest interventions. 400 years of silence preceded the arrival that split history in two. The quietest night of all was the night before the tomb opened. Silence in the divine pattern is not absence. It is the sound a final preparation makes. When the director goes quiet backstage, it is because the curtain is about to move. So when your prayers seem to echo in an empty room this season, do not read it as abandonment. Read it as the hush before the entrance. Before we go into the final declarations, I want to speak one last time about the seed. You have been here through this entire message. Something moved in you and you know it. The question is what you will do with what moved. There are two kinds of people who receive a word like this. The first kind feels something and walks away unchanged. They return to the same restlessness within days and cannot explain why the clarity faded. The second kind acts on what they felt while the anointing is still present. They plant something, and what they plant locks in what they received. Those are the ones whose lives actually shift. The link is pinned in the comments below. Give what heaven is pressing on your heart right now, not later. Now, because the feeling you have in this moment is a window, and windows close. Do not let this one close without stepping through it. Go to the comments. Give now and watch what God does next. Now, let me gather the whole of this message into your hands, because a watchman needs his orders in a form he can carry. Your season has changed from waiting to arrival. The pressure you feel to leave is not guidance. It is the exit reflex, the last tactic of an opponent who cannot touch the shipment and so must move the receiver. It wears three costumes: false wisdom that offers exits without destinations, comparison that arrives suspiciously on schedule, and fatigue that translates "I need rest" into "I need out." You now see through all three. Your instruction is not standing still, but standing guard, and the guard has three duties. Guard the gate, meaning the small daily faithfulness that keeps the entrance of your life open. Guard the declaration, meaning a mouth that defends your coordinates instead of leaking them. Guard the watchtower, meaning a mind kept clear and sharp enough to recognize the carrier when the knock comes. And the carriers are coming: assigned people, assigned moments, assigned resources moving along routes that end at the address where you were planted, not the address you were tempted to flee to. Your part of the distance is complete. The final mile belongs to the convoy. Before this message ends, I am going to speak something over your life, over your post, and over everything currently in transit toward you. But first, wherever you are, sit back for a moment and let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Notice how much of your body has been braced, as if you were carrying the delivery yourself. You are not the carrier. You are the receiver. Now picture your life as a single point of light on a dark map, steady, unmoving, faithful. And now, from the edges of that map, see them. Small lights moving along roads. You cannot name all of them, converging slowly, steadily, unstoppably toward your point. Every route was drawn before you were born. Watch one of the lights get closer. Feel what it does to your chest to know the map is already in motion. Now, place your hand over your heart and let a single sentence rise from that deep stubborn knowing we named at the beginning. Say it quietly or say it inside. I am exactly where I am supposed to be. Let your breath slow down around that sentence. This is what a held position feels like. Remember this feeling, you will need it on the loud days. And now, chosen one, receive this as the seal over everything we have walked through together. Thank you, Father, for the post you assigned and for the stubborn grace that has kept these feet planted through every season that tried to move them. Thank you for what is already loaded, already rooted, already en route. Whatever has been pressing on you to abandon your position, release it now. Release the false wisdom that offered you exits with no destination. Release the parade of comparison and every life that was never yours to live. Release the translation of tiredness into surrender. Release the shame of the years that looked like nothing was happening. Release the addresses you almost fled to. Release the grip on the final mile that was never yours to walk. Let it all fall from your hands, because hands that release the false burden are hands free to receive the true delivery. And now, stand up on the inside and declare who you are. I am planted, not stranded. I am a watchman, not a wanderer. I am the receiver of what heaven has already released. I am sharp at my post and awake at my window. I am not moved by silence. Not moved by seasons, not moved by the sound of other footsteps running past my field. What is mine is in motion, and it knows my address. I will be here when it arrives. If that declaration landed in your spirit, type Amen in the comments right now. Let that be your seal. Let it be your covenant with everything spoken over your life today. If this message found you at your post tonight, type, I am staying in the comments as your declaration before heaven. And before every witness reading them, then share this with one chosen. One you know is packing boxes they are not supposed to pack. The first name that comes to your mind right now is the person heaven chose. Send it to them. Hold your coordinates. Chosen one. They are closer than they have ever been, and so it is.